Okay, everybody, we're excited to be on tonight. Tyler with Bronkbuster, got Talon here. Um, we got Austin. Of course, you guys have probably seen him around a lot with us. Bracken Machine. We go to a lot of off-road events with Austin, and he's been a friend of ours for quite a while. We're going to go into more about him. We got John and Willie from Velox, and from Texas Fabco. They're with us tonight. We're actually here at Velox, Texas Fabco, where we've been doing some really cool stuff today. I think you guys are going to be excited with the new products that we're bringing to you. Tonight's edition of Bronkbuster Live is our first. We're hoping that each week we can kind of add a few more things. I'm going to go into, just in this brief introduction, a little bit about what we want to accomplish with this live stream, and that's a couple things. Each week we're going to bring on a new partner or guest. Next week we actually have a fun one also, and that's going to be with Yankum ropes. Some of you guys might have seen our Yankum ropes out there. We have a co-branded product now called the Bronc Lasso. So we get to bring on Alan from Yankum, and we're going to bring on Rory from Trailmater. So if you guys ever watch the YouTube channel, he's the off-road recovery in Moab, and he's got a pretty cool channel going on there. So Rory's coming on with us. We've got other weeks, Martha Tanzi from the show Mountain Men. She's going to be coming on with us one week. She's a big time off-roader, does a lot of stuff up in Alaska. So that'll be a fun one. We've got one of these weeks, we're going to have the drummer, Poison drummer, who's Ricky Rocket. So he is the drummer for Poison. And we're going to have some fun with him. And, so we're going to try and have some fun people on to talk with us. We've got some really fun people today, and hopefully, introduce some of our new partners, products that we're doing, things we're working on. At the end of every episode, the last 30 minutes or so, we're hoping to leave that open to you guys to ask questions. This is kind of a place where you can say, hey, I've got a question about the Bronco, and we'll try and answer and help you guys. So with that introduction, as people are coming on, I'm going to say hi to a few people. We got Jamie Castleberry. Good to have you on here. Ken Boyd. Hey, Ken, excited to get you some of those new upgraded that front drive unit stuff we've been talking about. We got Alan Spurgeon, Dirk Connor. Anybody else that wants to say hi to us, jump on and say hi. And we're going to talk for a minute about our upcoming event. A lot of you guys may know about it, but I'm going to share my screen here for a second so that we can talk about this. So those of you that don't know, here coming up in January, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, we've got Wheeling for a Cause. So Wheeling for a Cause, if you guys are able to help support this cause, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is and how you guys can help us. So go to wheelingforacause.org. On the homepage, you scroll down, there's a place to register, donate to the cost, or just cause or buy raffle tickets. So all of the proceeds for this are going to Wheeling for a Cause. The About Us, if you're interested, you can check on that. The Why. This event is mainly to benefit one individual and a couple of organizations that we work with. So TJ is an awesome individual that was wounded in Afghanistan in 2012, double amputee. I encourage you to, we've got a video out there with him, interviewing him on his story. A true hero, a man that took leadership and just ran with it. When he was injured to the point where I think a lot of us probably wouldn't even be able to function, he was still giving commands and getting his troops out safely. TJ is just a great guy, got a great outlook on life, and we're excited to be able to do this tracked wheelchair for him that's going to allow him to do things that he hasn't been able to do for a long time. And that is to get out in the outdoors and go hunting. He's limited right now with his chair to more limited places. This will allow him to just do incredible things. We're also hoping to benefit Camp Freedom. Camp Freedom is an organization in Pennsylvania that they bring out veterans, wounded veterans from all over the country, where they allow them to, be in tracked wheelchairs, go hunting, go, outdoor experiences. And a friend of mine, SOML, Travis Seek, he's been a good friend for a long time. We met a few years back when him and I both volunteered to go down and do rescues in Houston when they had the flooding, and I got to know more about Travis. And so when this all came about, I reached out to him, and I want to help benefit his cause. So he's got a veteran cause that is doing a lot of great things. So I encourage you to check out both of those. But again, on the homepage, we encourage you now to get on. Our ask is not to wait till last minute to register. There's a lot of things that go into these events. And for us, the more planning we can do, we have a lot of great interest, a lot of people that are coming, and we want to make sure that we are well prepared. So registering early allows us to make sure we have enough t-shirts made, make sure that we can have enough accommodations. If you click on the register here page, you'll see that there's a lot of options here for bringing your vehicle, off-road vehicle, or maybe you're just going to bring a vehicle that you're not going to off-road, and so that with one person is $75. To add another person to bring with you, if you have questions, go to the more info on what that is exactly. For instance, there's more options and prices. You pull that down, and it gives us the ability for a child price is less. The event t-shirts, raffle tickets. So some exciting stuff to announce that I haven't announced yet is we have some awesome, people that have stepped up. A lot of people have stepped up and volunteered to donate stuff or willing to help. And we're going to have some cool stuff to auction on a separate auction that we're going to be talking about in upcoming weeks. And that is, we've got Ted Nugent has agreed to donate a signed guitar. So we'll have that as an auction. We've also had many other things that they're going to be there. We've got off-road companies that have products that they're going to be donating that we'll have for an auction. So anyways, cool stuff. I wanted to kind of tease Talon. So we're having some fun chat when we were kind of getting ready to start this, and somebody wanted to know what prize they'd won. And I said, well, a swimsuit edition of Talon. So, we were kind of going back and forth, a little fun. And I guess that Talon in the summer Speedo is what everybody's requesting. So if you guys want to see Talon in the summer Speedo edition, comment below and we'll see if we can't make that happen for you.
Dad bod at his finest.
Yeah, careful what you ask for.
Yeah, yes, please. I'm more kidding. I really don't want to be part of that. So anyways, guys, I appreciate your help. We've had a lot of support. I hope you guys can make it out to this, but we're going to move on. This is kind of what we've wanted to talk about tonight. I'm going to first start with introduction of the man, the myth, the legend, Austin Brackett. Austin is a great friend of ours. And, I'm going to just tell a little bit about the story of, because Talon is part of this story too, because a year ago, when I had this initial idea of how to fix the steering rack on the Ford Bronco, I already had a proof of concept. I tried out, I whittled this piece together out of a hockey puck. I put it in the steering rack to see if it would work. Some of you guys might have seen our video with Light Bright when I went out, and it worked. So now I had an idea, and we sat down and I worked with a machine shop in Texas. We got it to a point where it was able to do some stuff, but we weren't dialed in yet. And I ran into some problems, headed up for Christmas to Montana. We were driving, and I call up Talon, and what did I say, Talon?
Well, he's driving up, like says, to meet some family, and he basically called me and was like, hey, do you have anyone that could potentially do this? And I was like, I have your man. And that's when I'd actually called Johnny. He works for Austin. And I'm like, hey, could you guys do this like right now? I think it wasn't it right now, Austin?
Yeah. He was coming by later, like in the afternoon.
Yeah. And it was like, they're like, absolutely. And that's really where this team, all started from, as us group of guys collaborating, and then we jumped and ran with what we had.
Well, so, and that's part of why I thought this would be fun. We've talked about for a long time doing a shop tour, and I'm still going to make Austin do a shop tour for us, but this is the kind of how it's made. How does the process? So, I come into Austin's shop with an idea, and how do we get it from that idea? And I'm going to let Austin talk a little bit about how we take it from that initial idea to a product. So take it away.
Yeah. So typically that's what we see is people come, a lot of times they already have the idea what they're trying to accomplish. And sometimes it's a napkin sketch, like literally on some scratch piece of paper. Sometimes they already have CAD models. Sometimes they have really good like 3D drawings, like a hand drawing. And we basically work with them to turn their concept into a reality, something they can put in their hand, something that is functional, something that can be manufactured. So we try to design around the process that it's going to be manufactured. So that's typically what we do. We do a lot of machining and fabrication and things like that, but that's just part of the process.
So Austin, if I come in there and I say, hey, Austin, I want this part and I want it good, I want it fast, and I want it cheap, what are you going to tell me?
No, you can't. We used to have one on there that had a unicorn in the center, like that's the unicorn. No, you really have to pick. You just can't have all three. You really can't. You need to, based on your budget, how complicated the product is, you got to kind of pick.
Right. So I learned a hard lesson real fast, guys, and that is that finding a great partner like Austin is not cheap. In fact, it comes at a cost. It's one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to bring that idea to reality. Even if it's a simple part, there's a lot to it. There's the research, right? There's how's this going to work? How do Austin, if I asked you, okay, I've never owned a business before, what do I do? What are you going to tell them?
That's a loaded question. There's a lot going on there, but
right.
Products are typically there's much more involved than people initially think. It's going to cost them a lot more money than they initially think. It's going to take a lot more time than they think. There's a lot involved with it. It depends. Is it a product for just you personally, and you're going to use it maybe, like I said, personal use, or is this something that you're going to kind of sell as a hobby on the weekends, or is this something you want to be mass produced and sold, in chain box stores or some kind of e-commerce or something? And based on, what level they want to go, there's more risk involved. As the product gets bigger and it goes to more distributors, you have a lot more potential. So a product that goes out to a lot of distributors and all of a sudden something has to be recalled, that can bankrupt someone. That can be the end of it. If they don't know how to, have a plan for that or some kind of really big backing. So if it's a product that they're selling on the weekend as a hobby and there's a flaw with it, it's not the end of the world. You can make a few phone calls and you can patch that up. But so
I can tell you guys, I've watched Austin. I'm going to talk a little bit from my perspective on how we can, when we put our minds to something, how fast we can do something. So some of you guys are running the part that is our newest steering part, and that is the housing, right? The story behind that, Austin is a big part of that story. Me, Tal, and Austin, and quite a few people were at the Bronco Safari in Moab. And, of course, we're working through things. We're running 40-inch tires. We're trying to push the limits of the Bronco. That's what our business model is built on, is Broncbuster. So we got 2 Broncos on 40s, and we're going up a trail to top of the world, actually, where we were at. And I get a phone call or a text message, because phone calls weren't coming through there, but I get a text message from Jesse with Hellbad Broncos saying, dude, I just grenaded my steering rack. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's sending me pictures, and it's the passenger side. And well, we hadn't experienced that yet. To that point, we had solved the tie rods. We had solved the bushing in the driver's side. Austin and myself putting our heads together, a lot of Austin's brain for sure went into making it, my idea happen. And then now we got this. And my first thought was, oh crap, what do we do now? It was a little bit of a shoot moment, right? And then literally, guys, I'm not lying, 10 minutes later, I'm going up this obstacle, and all of a sudden I hear my steering whining, and I can't turn, and I hear a little bit of a noise. So I stop and I look underneath, and my steering rack on that same exact spot. It's eerie how close together the two parts were broken. And Austin was with us. He was in the orange Bronco with Talon, and we look at it. Of course, we had a steering rack. I, at that point, was always carrying an extra steering rack because almost every trip we'd been on, we'd replaced one for somebody. This time we used it for ours. Luckily, Jesse was with Lauren Healy, and Lauren Healy always carries an extra steering rack. So Lauren fixed Jesse's, and we're back with a new steering rack. We put our parts on it. We're off and going. Immediately, what was your head doing, Austin, at that point? You saw it firsthand. So now what were we doing?
Yeah, the fun was over. Like the trip kind of ended at that point. Now it's like, laser focus on, this new problem we have.
So I can tell you, the funny thing is, guys, is Austin's brain doesn't shut off. So Talon can attest to this. We went back and we sat down, we put on my trailer both steering racks. We had Jesse's, we had mine. We're analyzing cracks. We're looking at, and we came to the determination, hey, this cracked a long time ago. Probably months ago. Jesse's, we decided when he launched it off a dune in Sand Hollow back in March, and here we're in May. So that's kind of when we figured out he probably broke his. I think I broke mine when I was going down in Mickey's hot tub in Moab a month earlier. And we come up with many ideas, and we're bouncing ideas off each other. Okay, how can we do this? And we get back on Sunday, right? That Sunday we got back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you start modeling that up Sunday night, or was it like middle of the night you were in the shop, I think?
No, because a lot of it you're working out in your mind first. You're thinking about it. Monday morning, we went to paper to a sketch and then a CAD model.
So Monday so Austin was working on one thing, and then he's giving us assignments, and we were trying to trace out stuff. We were pulling parts, and he's putting a chunk of aluminum in. And of course, we just had a big chunk of aluminum, and so you had to mill it down quite a bit. And we built our first prototype. Actually, we built two of them. And the miraculous thing is we were able to go from an idea, concept, to reality in 3 days. Now, I don't think Austin slept in those 3 days, but we were out testing. That Wednesday, we were out in Wayne's World, I think, up by Salt Lake. We drove middle of the night. Literally, we left at 9:00, left Preston, Idaho, drove up there. I think we got there at midnight and had a bunch of the Utah guys, and we were wheeling the heck out of the Wayne's World, trying to kind of see what the stresses were. And then that weekend is when we went to the sand dunes, because, Austin said, hey, if you really want to put this to the test, let's go put it through the sand, whoops, ups and downs, and all these things. And Austin, I'll let you tell us what happened next in the sand dunes in our testing.
Introduction to Brokeback
Mountain. No, it's not that at all. It's not that at all. Yeah, I was in a Bronco with Jake, and we
full send.
Full send. Yeah, I no longer recommend the full send, but it was a pretty big drop off, and there was plenty of time to think about things as we're going through the air, and I knew it was not going to be good. When we came up as we were coming up to the edge, just the difference in horizon alone just threw up some really big red flags for me. But yeah, so it turned into a few broken bones. And
well, it was more than that. So guys, understand, myself and my wife who came up on it just after they're out. I come up, and there's Austin laying on the ground on his back. Jake's over the top of him. And we have a Bronco that's pretty much totaled. airbags deployed, the front ends, crushed in because they did. It was a dart. It was a lawn dart through the air is the best way to explain it.
Yeah, lawn dart.
Yeah, the lawn dart. So, and that lawn dart didn't end too well, but it was not fun. But we did find out a couple of things through that. Not because we wanted to, but number one, nothing on the steering broke. Number two, it was on one of our body lifts, and that'd been one of our questions. Okay, everybody asks on a body lift, is the body going to come dismounted from the vehicle in a front end collision? We can tell you no, it does not. It held up quite well, actually. Other things not so well, including Austin. But anyways, we could talk a lot. I guess the thing is that I want to outline Austin and his ability to take something from a concept to reality. I can't do that myself. And I want to say it comes at a cost, but having the right partners in what you're trying to do. So if anybody has an idea out there, I encourage it. Go after your dream, go after your idea, but don't think it comes easy. I mean, what were you saying earlier when we were talking, Austin? You better make sure you're good with your marriage, right?
Yeah, I was gonna see if you wanted to elaborate on, how much money you're gonna spend. It's a lot. How much strain it's going to put on a marriage or your significant other, how much time you're going to be away from home. It turns into an infant. You got to take care of it day and night, phone calls, emails. It's feeding it money to keep going. There's a lot more involved than people initially. I tell people, you have a great idea. You have a great product idea. Congratulations, you're 5% there. Because the other 95 is going to be, marketing, your business sense, your funding, your partners, travel. It's a huge.
It's huge.
Endeavor. Yeah.
I mean, and I can expound on that. I can tell you I have an angel for a wife because, this last year has just completely turned upside down what we were used to doing. We put about 70,000 miles on vehicles this week, going around the country, driving all over, being at events, talking to people, going back and forth to Idaho and working on stuff there. And I love it, guys. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for nothing, but it's not easy. I mean, some days it's done at 11 o'clock at night and back up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes 5-6 days a week and definitely 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I try not to do a whole lot on Sunday, but it's constantly, I'm on my phone. My wife's like, okay, shut it off. It's time to go to bed, or let's talk, let's do something else. So anyways, I wanted to expound on that there's a lot to this process. It's not just throw a part in a machine and spits out a part. It's, having the right partners, having guys like Austin. And this is where I want to segue into, some of you guys maybe have been seeing on social media that I've been throwing up some new ideas, some new parts we're doing. I felt it was important to have all of us on because there's some stuff that we're going to be working together. And I introduced at the beginning, Willie and John here with Velox and Texas Fabco. And I want them to talk a little bit about what they do. And I'm hoping to maybe show you guys a little bit of a sneak preview while we're here in their shop. Some of the things we're doing. And then again, stay with us because that's at the end is where we're going to answer questions. We'll go back through some of the questions that was asked to us. And maybe you guys got some things you'd like to ask about the Bronco, some new findings that we've had over the last, few days, times, weeks, whatever. And maybe some products you'd like to see. I mean, this is the kind of incubation, as John will call it, of ideas that you have, maybe that we can help with. So with that, I'm going to now turn it over to Willie and to John with Velox to introduce themselves, what they do, and how you guys help solve problems.
So
Willie, you're going to go first, right?
Yeah, I'm laughing because Willie's wife just commented on here about the wives sticking together and getting your wife's contact information. So I was also going to comment, you talk about small business and you're camping out at our shop right now to be able to do some of what we're doing together here. So it's definitely a full-time job. But
yeah, I mean, I am going to start off right off the bat saying that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for having a supportive wife. you know, like everybody's story, everybody has their story. I was in the oil and gas industry for 25 years. COVID hit, I got laid off, and I had an idea. Came to Texas Fabrication, John. That's how we met.
Through a mutual friend.
And
It was like, I need to cut this. And he walked in with a mutual friend of ours and was like, can you make this? And I'm like, what the hell is that? And sometimes it's just a crazy idea. And we said, sure, we'll make it. But can we improve on it a little bit? And like Austin was saying, can we tad things up? Can we change it and improve on the design? And
so the initial idea was a gull wing. I had always wanted one for Forerunner, and nobody made them, so I made my own. And then it took off on Forerunner forums, and that's when I came to John. And I got a lot of feedback, people wanting them, and I was like, "Can you help me make these?" And he saw the upside of it, and he said we should
partner up.
Business. And so here we are with Velox now and Texas Fabco, and we're making some of the most innovative products out there on the market. And we try to do things that no one else does. We try not to be a copycat manufacturer. We try to make things that there's gaps in the market, and we try to fill those gaps with creative, innovative products that no one else is making or scared to make. We kind of align with, your philosophy, Tyler, and being proactive in our mindset of what we make. We try to be very unique and different.
Yeah, so we my brother and I had started a small metal fabrication shop, and Willie came along and had a good idea. And as soon as he posted it, it kind of went a little bit viral on social media. So we said, let's partner up and start a new business so we have its own entity. And I've got a lot of business background. He's got a lot of time and he more off-roading experience than we had. So, he's been some of the product idea guy, and we've been able to help him to execute. And one of the fundamental challenges with manufacturing is making one is not that hard. Designing for mass production is a completely different animal. And a lot of people don't understand that, there's a lot of product tweaks and a lot of product thought that has to go in to be able to make the same product over and over and over again with quality in mind and consistency and repeatability. And we've gotten very good at that. And what happened was it went from one vehicle to coming out and adding it for a lot of different vehicles. And as soon as the Broncos came out, Willie and I looked at each other. It was like, we've got to do the Bronco. That's just something like the 2-door is just too big not to do it, and then put guns in it just to show off how big it is and have fun with it. Obviously, we don't recommend people keep guns in there, but Texas Fabrication Company, we actually just moved back in June to a little over 30,000 square feet now. We are a metal fabrication company. We've got all kinds of CNC equipment, not the same things that Austin has, which is why the three of us all complement each other very well. So we do a lot more, cut, bend, weld, powder coat solutions than we do like milling billets and all that kind of fun stuff. So brackets, bezels, molly panels, gull wings, anything like that. And what has happened ever since we brought Willie in is we've kind of started an incubation program where we either perform cut services for people and help them make products, or there's a lot of people have, like Austin was saying, great ideas, but don't have the business background to be able to understand how to execute on a strategy. So we've got a small incubation opportunity that we've created for people where we believe they've got a good product and we don't want to run their company, but we want to help them write business plans, raise capital, run their accounting, and then manufacture for them and help them with product design and engineering. So we start out with either a concept or a vehicle, and we can 3D scan the vehicle and then design around that. We go to Austin. We were talking about, you make prototypes at any inexpensive material you can. So you'll see on our Instagram a lot of cardboard and everything else, and we'll design products to test fitment. And then once we go from cardboard, then we can start cutting out of the more expensive materials. And we have the ability to go from a concept to a prototype in 24 to 48 hours once we've got kind of that design down. So one of the products we just debuted, and that literally came about in a matter of days was our new Bronco Molly Dash accessory panel that we're going to be launching here in conjunction with Bronkbuster. And that's really just, we love building organization solutions. We love building, the ability to mount gear better, stronger. And so, and accessibility is a big thing for us. So, we're constantly innovating and adding more products. And I think you guys came here because you saw we could very quickly go from a concept to a mass production. And with the manufacturing equipment we've got, we can really ramp up anybody's product line. And I think Austin's in a similar situation. Like once you've got a concept and we've worked out the logistics of how you get it to mass production, then it's how many do you want? You want 5 or you want 5,000? It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of setting up the machines and you come up with an incremental time to make them and aligning the team to batch through processes. So it's been a lot of fun. And we've enjoyed having you guys shop and coming up with all kinds of new ideas.
It's been a lot of fun today. I can't tell you. We showed up this morning. We unloaded the Bronco, brought it in, and immediately everybody went to work. We come in on the whiteboard. We put up our list of, okay, what do we want to accomplish over the next couple of days? Because, we know that we can't accomplish everything at once, right? So a big part of what we did today was scanning all parts of the vehicle for future things that we're wanting to work on. So, little teaser, it's no surprise. A lot of you guys know that with what we've told you, the body lift is one of those things that we want to continue innovating and coming up with ideas because it solves so many problems. It allows for adding bigger tires without changing geometry. But the problems we've faced is there's limited in what we can do on relocating the bumpers. I can't, we could sit here. Myself and John and Austin and Willie and Talon, we could sit and all we did was design relocates for every bumper out there because every bumper that's aftermarket is designed different, right? But reality is, I'm gonna put this up here. Austin looking like a German bad guy in a Bond film. Yes,
I do what I can.
Smile. No. Anyways, the reality is that we had to come up with different ideas. So we sat down. We said, all right, what are some ideas? We're coming up with a piece that can go in there in both front and back that we can add pod lights to, right? Rock lights.
Yep.
Maybe a light bar. I've been talking about that for a while. We're talking about actually, we were 3D scanning tomorrow the whole front end to see if we can come up with a really cool front grille that would fill that in, and then we have other options for the back. So the reality is that we're trying. We listen to you guys. We understand what the problems are. All of us as a group are putting our heads together to come up with solutions, and it's awesome. We've been working on mounting light brackets. So we're working with Project X to get. We want brackets that kind of showcase their lights in a different way. Something that we can come up with that says, look at this. This looks cool. They've got some awesome lights. What else, Talon, are we working on?
Then we're also doing a universal light bar bracket, a couple of those. They'll be really, really cool when they come out. Very unique and intricate. Because
Raycor Lights is another friend of ours. Right now our main partnership that we're working with is Project X. But Raycor has some of the most amazing products in the mining space. Yes. and heavy equipment. But their lights, they're manufactured right in Logan, Utah. And so we've got to go and talk to them, the lumens it puts out. The biggest challenge we have there is cost. The quality is incredible. And so we're going to come up with some fun stuff there to offer as an option too. What can we have that you can light up the entire desert when you're out there, right? We'll see. Anything else, Talon, on the product development side? Skid plates. So protection. So that's one of the things we're going to start scanning is underneath the vehicles. I've heard it over and over. We got different parts that we need to protect. Austin, let's go back to that for a minute. I want to talk about a couple of things we're developing with Austin. You want to take it. What are some of the things that you and I have talked about and that have high on our list, Austin, that you're working on?
Well, the housing on the differential that comes off the passenger side is pretty high on our list. How much of it do you want to share?
Well,
You can talk about the product we're actually all doing together, which is the tire relocation bracket with the hinges.
yes.
And that's
So we
actually
are
a
working
comment
on
Alan just
mounting
brought
a
up.
42-inch tire on the rear door. So Austin's going to be designing the hinge that can handle it, and Velox has designed a rear mount. So we've got prototypes. We're in process on the hinge, and we're going to come back with you guys some really good options on that. Because for me, I don't, we'll run 40s and 42s. We're not putting a spare on the back. That's just going to destroy something. And so until we have a good solution, we're just doing a delete. But long term, we want to have a solution there for you. So that's a good product.
We debuted a product for SEMA that was a 40-inch and 40-inch plus tire relocation bracket for the rear door. And we approached you guys because our biggest fear was the hinges. And so we're working with Austin to see if we can't come up with a hinge solution in conjunction with our bracket that would allow you to mount 40s without breaking the rear door.
So another product, because as many of you guys know, we are working directly with Dana Spicer. We were the first to be able to debut to you the new Ultimate 44, and the ability to have a stronger differential and re-gearing. Like Austin said, we're giving you another option for guys that want to stay with the 29 spline, maybe keep their RCVs or whatever they already have. We're working on the tube to reinforce the weak point on the differential. We've had multiple failures, some you guys probably know about on the internet this week that with that part failing. And so we want to come up with a solution there. We're working on a manual sway bar disconnect. So that option will be a link for not only those of you guys have manual, but it'll also be an option for on the automatic sway bar. That link can go in there and allow you to, if you want to totally disconnect, because the automatic sway bar disconnect only gives you so much articulation. When you disconnect completely, you're going to gain a little more. On top of that, we found that installing the new Ultimate 44 with the 32 spline, it's a lot bigger CV. It takes more room. So we got to kind of redesign and tweak that link anyways, because depending on lift and where things are at, that could be, something. So we're working on that. Of course, some of the new stuff we've just done, I'll let Austin talk about. What are some of the newest things that we're going to have on the website here soon, Austin?
We just loaded the Baja Buster Brace. How far do you want to go into that? I don't even know if it's live yet.
So we don't have it live yet, but no, it's fine. I mean, everybody knows about it. We'll have it live so we can start selling them. But the Buster Brace is now designed for the Baja kit. So those of you guys that are running the Baja kit and wanting to reinforce your tie rod, reach out to us. We'll definitely keep you apprised. We try and send out emails. So if you're not on our email list, I encourage you to go on there. We try and keep everybody updated through that and then through social media. So when we do that release, we'll let you know. We've got a steering rack, a couple of different steering racks in our shop. You want to talk about those, Austin?
So the Haas 3.0?
The Haas 3.0, yep.
The accessories, so the bushing and the housing for that as well. There's the Ford Ranger. So how many times a day I don't know how far you want to go into that, but it appears to be a pretty hot item as well. So
I get messages daily on Rangers. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know. I think I've kind of put it out there. Ranger and the Bronco Sport in 2023 are going to be one of our projects that we work on. There's in the 2023 model, there's going to be a lot more in common between the Ranger and the Bronco anyways. But I think, we can kind of help that platform, pretty incredible platform there. They're having a lot of the similar problems on the steering rack. And so we're going to try and solve them. The Bronco Raptor, the design is very similar on the Raptor as it is on the stock. It's reinforced, it's stronger, but we feel that there are some parts, especially for those of us who want to take those limits a little bit further, even for the Raptor, the Haas 3.0, and it'll fit on the new steering rack once it's released by Ford. So a lot of stuff happening on that. We've kind of threw out there the idea of a long travel kit that we develop. That'll probably be a more long-term play. We've got to get, we're working on it's in play with a few people to get the CVs designed to where we can have the lengthened CV, and that'll be one of those co-produced things where, you know, the lower control arm we'll probably fabricate right here in Texas, where it'll be steel fabricated. The upper control arm Austin will be doing out of billet. And so that's something that we'll be coming up with. Anyways, you know, there's a lot of things that's in the works. The biggest thing is we want to kind of have a place where we can talk about it. You guys can ask questions. And at this point, unless you guys have some, I want to kind of turn some time over for questions from those of you guys out there that want to know. You know, I'm going to go back on a few of these and answer them, but be thinking about things that you would like to see, and maybe things that you don't like about the Bronco that, I don't know, maybe we can help with, maybe we can't. I think all in all, Ford did a great job on it. I'm going to go up. Let's see. We had a comment earlier that we had highlighted. Oh, yes. So Alan Spurgeon, and if I pronounce names wrong, I apologize, guys. I'm trying to find his. Yes. Okay. So I'll show his question. So he was blowing up our Instagram this last week when I was posting that, hey, we ran into some problems while we were out on 42-inch tires in my wife's Bronco little sister this last weekend, testing the 32 spline, or not 32 spline, sorry, the 29 spline in the stock differential. We had the new CVs, and I said, all right, we've been waiting on this part, waiting on that. We had a blown differential on hers. We finally got it all together. We're out testing the CVs, and you know, and we're testing it hard. I told her, hey, we're going to probably put this through a little bit of abuse. We're going to probably break something. She goes, I don't want to come then. So it was just me, my son, and a friend of ours went out, and we got going up some obstacles that most people were doing the bypasses. Clearance wasn't an issue, but there was some stuff that kind of difficult getting up. And every time I get a little wheel spin and a little hop, because again, I was crawling it, but at the same time, I wanted to allow it to hop a little bit, because hopping with wheel spin is generally every time what would kill a CV axle, and I'd be done. So I wanted that as part of my test. Well, as soon as I got a little wheel spin and a hop, just like that 4x4 disengaged, and I couldn't no longer climb. So we'd have to back up, turn it off, and, you know, and it wouldn't, a lot of times we couldn't get it to reset without then taking it, you know, and disconnecting the battery. So we kept going through that process. We'd go back up, we'd climb, we'd wheel spin, disconnect. So we decided, all right, we're going to have a little bit of an experience. And yes, Terry, my wife is used to me breaking hers. Anyways, we're going to do a little experiment here. I had a kind of a hypothesis in my head that it had to do with wheel speed sensors not correlating right with the drive line. So I went and disconnected all 4 wheel speed sensors and shut off the vehicle, disconnected the battery, let it sit, reconnected the battery, computer reset, except for now it's giving me all these codes that, you know, no ABS and that sort of stuff. But I knew that would happen. We went back and climbed, and I could get wheel speed. I could get some hopping, and no problems. You know, solution, not a solution yet, but we at least knew we know what's causing it. Now I've had conversations with Dana. I think conversations with Ford are coming. You know, we're going to figure out next step on maybe how we can prevent that. But at least we know why it's happening. The last part of that was I then get to a point where we got to go down, and there was a part I didn't really want to take the Bronco down without, you know, fear of maybe flopping it over being that tall. So I went to back up, put it in reverse, and loud bang, there went the front drive shaft. So we still got to get the drive shaft out. It's actually still in the Bronco right now. I've got a new one here coming. I'm going to take it out, see what else going on there, but we might develop something. You know, I've got it on the list for Austin, maybe an attachment where we can put some different drive shaft and stuff. So anyways, do you see some other on here?
Yeah, Alan.
So Alan, will your stuff fit the Raptor steering rack? You can purchase it separately as an upgrade to the Get Quicker steering. So, Alan, yeah, any of you guys that are asking, we do have right now the Raptor steering rack, the housing on the website. The bushing is coming soon. I don't know, Austin, probably the next week or so we should have that ready to come out. And then we still got to model up the Buster brace. Is everything's different on that too. So that's one of the things we still got to work out, but definitely working on that. We had the Bronco Adventures. Curious, will you guys be making portals too? We talked about it. In fact, that was on my dream list for a long time. I think we're going to focus on other stuffs right now. I think that 74 Weld is doing a fantastic job. The only problem with portals that we decided, not really a problem if money's not an object, but you by the time you buy the portals, install it, do everything you need, you're $30,000. And could we come up with a way to do it a little cheaper than 74 Weld? I don't know. Without investing a lot of money to find out. It's still, portals is great. That solves a lot of problems, but I don't think that's in our wheelhouse right now, anyways. Lift for the Haas. Okay, so Austin,
up,
yeah. Well, hey, Walter, how you doing, buddy? So Walter's our good friend from Vegas. He runs the Sin City Vegas Bronco group, and he did an awesome SEMA build. Also, Walter is a big help with us on this event. He reaches out to different vendors and helping us. So Walter's definitely a good friend. Good question, Walter. Lift kit for the Haas. We need to get one in our shop, in our hands, that has the Haas 3.0, and we can kind of look at that. I mean, it's until we have it, we don't know. So we'll definitely add that to the list. Thanks, Walter. Let's see.
By the way, that's one of the fundamental problems for making a lot of stuff is with all the different variations, trying to come up with a demo that you can use to model off of or take apart and reverse engineer or scan or whatever. You've got to get somebody willing to donate their kit, because it's same thing with us. We keep getting asked for all these different vehicles, and if we don't have one here to play with, it's difficult to model unless we get the CAD files.
Yep. I agree. And so we're working on getting CAD files. We're working on, again, it's one step at a time. Austin don't sleep much. I don't sleep much. Talon doesn't sleep much. And I can pretty much guarantee you that John and Willie, they don't sleep much. So
we live at this shop.
What's that?
We live at this shop.
Yeah, live at the shop. So, we'll continue, and we appreciate those feedbacks. One of the questions from Lee was, any plans to look into hydro-assisted steering? So, Austin, why don't you tell us, we've had conversations. I'll let you kind of talk about what we've talked about and where we're at on maybe having hydro-assisted steering.
So this is a straight assist. This isn't full hydro, right? Assist.
That's what I'm taking this. I mean, we can talk about full hydro also, but straight assist. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's what John said. We've got so many variations. That's the biggest issue. If it's hard to hit a moving target, and there's all these models and variations coming out. So, but yeah, we do have quite a few leads and kind of preliminary design worked up on accomplishing that. I don't know how much you want to go into that, Tyler.
No, we're not going to go into a lot of detail. It is on our list. So the answer is yes. There are constraints, space constraints. How do we do it? Where do we assist? It's a rack and pinion. It's not your typical steering box like on a Jeep or something. So it's doable. We'll continue exploring options. Let's talk full hydro, because day one, before this ever even became anything for me, that's kind of what led me down this path a little bit. Was I got together with Val over at Two Fat Guys in San Antonio, and we were talking about putting 40s on the Bronco and going and wheeling with Light Bright. This was a year ago, a little over a year ago now. And as we did that, we said, well, we can't do it on the stock steering rack. So, hey, we're gonna be the first one to pull that steering rack out of the Bronco, and we're gonna put hydro in there. We can mount brackets, we can do all this stuff. And the first thing we found was There are so many different body control modules, right? That's what they're called, right, Austin? I got that right? That are tied into everything, that there's so much feedback coming from that steering rack back to the ECU, to the computer, that without that steering rack, it put everything into limp mode. I mean, you couldn't engage four-wheel drive. You couldn't, on an automatic, you couldn't go into gear. Manual, I had a little bit more leeway because it's a manual. But long story short, it was not an easy project. We're making some progress. Talon and I actually today got to go drop Bronkbuster off at a really cool shop down here in this part of Texas, down by Houston, called Lone Star Gear and Pinion, right? Or Gear.
Yeah.
Sorry if I got it wrong. A lot of stuff going through my head. Anyways, they bought a Bronco at Barrett Jackson that had done a solid axle swap. So I put some pictures on social media for you guys to look at. But we've had some conversations. They're actually doing the gearing right now on my rear axle for Bronkbuster. We'll go back and talk with them some more tomorrow. But I've had a lot of conversations. I've had conversations with Austin on how to make, because he's got full hydro. So he's worked through some issues. There's still a ways to go to get all the lights off and to make everything work. But he's getting closer to a functioning Bronco with a straight axle. So yes, I do want to someday put a full hydro on Bronkbuster. I just think it'd be a fun project, and I think that'd be something that all of us collabing together could do. So, okay, there was another question I want to get to before we go too far from Alan again. Let's see, Alan. Or was there another one first? Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Oh. Sorry. If I'm missing some, I'm going to try and go back, guys. It's so Lifted Bronco. Hey, Frank, our buddy Frank from San Antonio. I have a Bronco Sport coming, LOL, so that can be my test vehicle. Frank, absolutely, buddy. You will be the test. We love that. Jamie, that's what I was going to say. So we had a cross. Would definitely be interested in a cross brace for the roof line to stiffen the body like the Raptor. Okay. Austin, you got any ideas on that, or we just take that and
that is not something. Yeah, we haven't looked at that. So
yeah, that's a new idea. So
yeah, I haven't even considered that.
We may be able to collaborate on that too, because we've got the tube laser, so we could potentially come up with something to help you guys cut tube for that.
Yeah. Perfect. So I actually I wrote that down.
Hey, Wild Raptor 2023, even though there's holidays, we try really hard. Thanksgiving morning, I was packaging parts so you guys could have all your holiday specials. So
you're right, though. There is balance. If those of you guys that don't know, Talon has 3 kids.
Yes.
Yeah. One of them's a new little boy that's 4 months old?
3
months old. And I agree. Talon needs to spend time with his family, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is our family. I'm actually a grandpa as of last week, and I thought it'd be cool, but I never thought it'd be this cool. I love. I can't wait to get back home, and that's really what I'm looking most forward to, is getting home and jumping in the car and going seeing my little grandboy. So he's an awesome, cute little thing, and. So I'll take that counsel. Yes, my wife would probably appreciate that too. Let's see. The factory knuckles get real thin up top near the upper control arm ball joint. Have you guys seen any stress points running heavy tires? So not yet. We actually have done some pretty good hard testing with the stock upper control joint. We've run a couple of aftermarket ones and had some failures, more failures with the aftermarket ones. And I'm not naming any names, but no, I haven't seen any stress points on the stock one, but we've definitely blown the boot out, leaking some grease up there. I mean, it's heavy on it. That's why upper control arm is an important one that we want to work on.
Tyler, was that the Rubicon trip? Is that the upper that we're thinking about?
Oh yeah, you know what? When we did the Rubicon, I came home and my bolt off of my upper was basically the whole thing was like a U, and we had to do a little bit of work to, I don't know, Talon, you had to cut it off, and
that was with an aftermarket. upper control arm. We actually had to cut the control arm to get the bolt out because it was so bent, and we actually put factory uppers back in Bronkbuster.
So I think rear steer in a Bronco would be awesome. I think Austin would join on board with that one because I think he's on board with the whole straight axle swap more than I am actually. Right, Austin?
Yeah, I'm straight axle. That's my area there. No, but that actually wouldn't be. You don't have the complications like you do on the.
No, there's. I mean, hey, listen.
All your sensors and whatnot.
All of us can agree that there are reasons why a straight axle is better for certain things, but there's also a reason why the Bronco is so much better than and I'll say it, than driving a Jeep. You know, it's more comfortable, the ride quality, and so there's some sacrifices, but that's kind of what my goal is, and Austin's goal, and Talon's goal, and John and Willie is, hey, what can we do to maybe solve some of these issues and make it better? So. Yeah, I think rear steer would be fun though. That'd be a fun project. Harness bars for safety. Yeah. That there's definitely some stuff we could do there, especially if we're going to go out and I don't know if Jake's on. Jake, are you on here, buddy? Our good friend Jake. We may need some harnesses for Jake, right? Right, Austin, or for passengers. No,
I need a bubble wrap suit.
But yes, that could be a good thing. Let's see, we've got, have you considered making a bronc bushing for the right side for the people not going to extreme and needing the whole assembly, but want to eliminate the slack? So yes, we looked at that. And Austin, tell these guys why we couldn't put a bushing in the passenger side, the same as what we did on the driver's side. I get this question a lot.
No, we did, but we had to do the housing to do it.
Right. But so the question here is for maybe those that don't want to go the whole housing, why not just put a bushing in there?
Because the area that you have to put an engineered plastic, you have a recirculating ball screw. So just picture, for the sake of conversation, like threads on a bolt, but they're not like that entirely, and as you turn, they move in and out. And so you can't have that surface sliding across a plastic bushing, or it'll embed itself into the plastic. That ball screw actually flexes more than people think. When it's hanging out there and you're hard passenger, you're kind of bound up, it moves a lot. And so
in addition, the metal, how come we didn't put a metal one in there then? Just take the stock housing, put a metal bushing in there, and make that work.
Well, you don't have the room. You don't have, in the stock housing, the opening has very little clearance for a bushing.
Yeah, it's like a half inch.
Yeah,
I mean, not even a half inch. It's like a quarter inch.
Not even a quarter. Yeah. So you have this small lip, and then you have nothing once it would be pressed in to secure it, into place. And then that's also a cast piece inside. That's not a machine bore. So you'd have nothing to press fit, a bushing into. And so that's not the only problem though. The housing is very thin. I mean, these things were mass produced. To just throw out a number, 99% of these Broncos sold aren't going to be wheeled like we do, right?
Or even wheeled at all. I mean, really, a lot of them aren't going to go off road. So they're not built necessarily for, just like a Jeep straight out of the box isn't built for a lot of what people go out and do with Jeeps, right?
Yeah. So if they built every component to be, level 10 trail rated, the thing would be very heavy and expensive to build.
So I guess the short answer is that we did look at every option. We looked at other ways to reinforce the stock one. And everything came back to pointed to one thing, that there just wasn't a way to reinforce it on that side. Like we have some really good way to reinforce it with the bushing on the other side. For one thing, we've got a smooth bore that it's running in and out, and it's not a ball screw like Austin was saying. So very good question. I'm glad you asked that one. It's just that was the way to handle it the best for everybody. So I'm going to go with, we got a couple more. Let's see. We got one more just comment. And then I think we'll start wrapping it up here. We're at that hour mark that I'm trying to hold it to. So ride quality on a daily driver is way more important than suspension flex. I sold my Wrangler on 38s for the Bronco, and it's just a much better vehicle to live with every day. 100% agree. Not just as a daily driver, but man, any of you guys that have gone out and done some fast off-road driving in the desert or just down a trail and it doesn't beat you to death, there are big time advantages on the Bronco, and that's one of them right there. Another comment is the truth most solid axle dudes have trouble admitting is most people spend 95% of the time driving down the highway. 100%. This is a hobby. A lot of us love to do this out on the weekends. So if we can come up with a way that makes it our daily driver, it's comfortable, it's easy to, go out and get groceries. And then on Saturday, let's go out and let's have some fun. Let's be part of the community, our off-road community. And, so what we're trying to do is come up with solutions that help grow that community without worrying about, am I going to break? Are we going to spend the whole rest of our day recovering somebody because they broke? And can we have the confidence that my Bronco can go out rock crawling, out in the mud, out in the snow wheeling, all these different things that we want to go do and have fun as a community without dealing with that. And so your guys' input on that is great. Your support is awesome. Appreciate everybody that can come out. Austin, thank you so much for all that you've done. Bracken Machine has been a big part of Bronkbuster from day one. I mean, literally day one. Talon has been a big part of that. And I'm super excited also to bring on Velox and Texas Fabco, because with them, I think we'll be able to now take some of the things that we haven't been focusing on, bring them in. We're able to grow that team, bring more stuff to you guys. So I hope you join us next week. Again, next week, we're going to be on, if anybody missed the beginning, we're going to have Yankum Rope, Alan with Yankum Rope on, and Rory with Trail Mater. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about our event next week, but also talking about recovery, the proper recovery gear, why having good quality gear for doing that is so important. You guys might know of some deaths in the past, and we want to make sure we can prevent that, and excited to show you what they can do and what they can bring and offer. That's why we wanted to bring them on. We're excited about that one. And like I said before, we're going to have some other great guests on, from Martha Tanzi from the TV show Mountain Men. And we're also going to have on Ricky Rocket, the drummer of Poison, that has a cool Bronco, and we're helping with different components of his build, and some of our other partners are helping with, and he's helping to support our event. So again, Tuesday nights, just put it on your calendar. We're gonna do this over and over, and make this a forum for you guys to come on, and we can all talk Broncos. So thanks for joining, and see you guys next time. Thank you guys.
Thank you.